grand final of this Olimoleague monthly, as we've had a couple TVZs on our way here, and we find ourselves in another one for the grand finals. Best of 7 in the finals of the Olimoleague monthlies. We do have in the top left-hand side the blue Terran player, Dream, taking on the red Zerg in the bottom right, soO. So we didn't actually follow soO's run through to this point, but he took down Ragnarok 3-0 in the semifinals, and he took down in the quarterfinals, I think it was Zest 2-0. So yeah, so you're having a good run in this. Obviously, we got to follow Dream's run. He took down Solar in the semis, a fun 5-game series, and he took down Innovation in the quarterfinals as well. If you're watching this one on YouTube, don't forget, you can subscribe, like, and comment, and especially do hit that like button. It's very easy, very quick to do. It takes you guys a couple seconds, and it helps us out so much. And trust me, I wouldn't be saying it if it didn't. So do check that out, guys, and if you can afford to, if you have a few moments to spare, really does go a long way. As we set up into this TVZ hatch gas and the spawning pool. It's kind of weird when you cast so many TVZs in a row. But fun that this is a best of 7. Definitely potential to see some fun stuff. Obviously, space and room for these players to switch it up a little bit as well. And hey, you know what? I'm never complaining about casting a whole bunch of TVZs because I love this matchup. Always a lot of fun. Always really interesting. As you just see, the pool going to finish in a few moments' time. Command Center drops down from Dream in the natural expansion. Reaper continuing to build, and yeah, Dream's kind of come up with a few fun builds so far in the semifinals today, and especially liked some of his. I really like the 4 Helene into like 2 base, 3 racks all in, but it was really scouted out well from Solar and then shut down. So I wonder if you then go, as Dream into that again in this series. Again, I'd kind of love to see it. It would either be this map or Pillars of Gold, I imagine. The 2 maps where you probably crack this out on. 2 of the shorter rush distances, with Submarine being significantly shorter. But also just 2 maps that really kind of lend themselves to that aggression. A couple of good positions to move into is Spore Crawlers will be built from soO to keep those couple of drones alive. So both those drones will stay alive here. That's nicely done as the Fuelings continue to chase, and the Reaper has to hop down to the low ground to get away for the moment. Third hatchery building up in location. There's that CC about to finish as well, and just going to be seeing ourselves on a double gas setup for Dream. So will not be a super fast 3 base, which I think is very regular considering the map. Build the starport a bit off over to the left-hand side here, and the barracks will be able to move across. Perhaps set up a tech lab for it as well. Those Hellions continue to produce as the link speed comes up on the spawning pool. Third hatchery already building. The Reaper gets over there. Doesn't do much. Actually, Reaper does have a kill. It's a creep tumor kill. That's actually nice to have denied the first creep tumor. Really delays this creep from getting now connecting the third and getting out in front of the third base especially. So it's a nice win early in the game. And of course, 25 extra energy this early on also has, that little bit of an impact as well. Reaper will hop up on the right. Lings get there. The Reaper gets turned back around. Couple of Hellions still wanting to poke in at the front. It's going to be seeing our cloak building from Dream in the main base with that Banshee. So Banshee and Cloak coming through. The couple of Hellions and a Reaper down to the third base where there's an Overlord that starts to morph, and 2 more Hellions showing up as well. So 4 Hellions and continuing to build. So just Hellion Banshee, very simple, very standard. Dives in before Link Speed is done. It is a bit of a later Link Speed here from soO with that earlier third base, and well, trying to take advantage of it. I mean, the drone split so far have been good enough to keep the majority of them alive. 3 drones only? Wow, 3 drones only is not good. When you're talking about 4 Hellions, that's just really not what you're looking for. A little bit of distraction in the main as well, but yeah, that's 4 Hellions, right? That's a pretty serious commitment. And especially now, do you want to keep building Hellions? That will then delay your extra racks. That slows down your bio follow-up. And it just has that little bit of an impact. It definitely doesn't feel good to be playing on racks that come up that late. This Banshee goes around to the far right-hand side. It's going to loop into the natural expansion soon after. And the Overlords continue to sit around in very good vantage points. Just good map vision from soO, although obviously these Overlords are somewhat exposed if Marines and Medevac start pushing, but we're a little while away from that still, so We'll worry about that when the time comes. Banshee shows up. Spore Crawler perfectly timed. Cloak will not really do much there right away. Obviously, eventually you get over to this side and you do find some positions where you can kind of sit without the Banshee being seen, but they kind of messed it up. And now 2 Queens got on top of it. Again, 3 kills. Don't get me wrong, 3 kills is good with the first Banshee, but the Banshee's not dead, but it's not going to really be able to come back in with the second Banshee, right? Which is definitely part of the problem as melee upgrades. Building on those evolution chambers, we do have the Banshee of Dream heading down to the south side of the map. And a bunch of drones on the way up with that Baneling Nest also dropping in behind these couple of evolution chambers. And again, the Banshees just making their way around as Hellions will go to the far right-hand side. So Hellions out to the far right. I was going to see 1-1 attacking armor upgrades. Stimpack all coming through the starport. Going to get its reactor finished, and he's got 3 CC to then move into position here shortly. Pretty much checking all the boxes off of what you expect that to be in this TVZ opener. So soO goes into the melee upgrades early, follows up with the La. I'm interested to see if soO wants to play mutas on this map. We definitely saw a tendency from soO not to in the semifinals, but there we go. Spire drops down immediately, so he will go straight to the mutas. I don't mind it. Actually, it's not a bad map for mutas. You know, if you hit the 3rd mineral line, you've got access into the main. If you hit the 4th mineral line, you've got access into the natural, which is actually a pretty good flight into the main after as well. The one downside is there's not a lot of dead airspace in the top left on the left side of the map in general. There is a bit of dead airspace up here, not really much space to just leave mutas hanging around. So again, it's not really like an ideal map for mutas. And of course, the shorter rush distance, I mean, that kind of works for and against you given the circumstances. You know, sometimes it can be nice because your mutas can be harassed and then they can, you know, harass as long as possible, then return home nice and quickly to then help clean up an army. At the same time, you know, the army of the Terran hits sooner, so you don't have as long to harass with the mutas, right? So it's kind of like a, yeah, you know, you hum and you haw. I think Dan generally you would want a bigger map. But yeah, he will commit to the Spires, the style he's comfortable with as he sets this up, and you know, going to be seeing a few of these creep teamers continue to go in the middle of the map. Some of the creep out to the left side being picked off. Marines are going to stem, and some more of this creep going to be cleaned out as well. So quite a few creep teamers already dropping here as Queens push in over the left-hand side. The Medevac's going to lift up and try and get out of there. And the Banshees continue out to the left as well as the Armory coming up to being halfway done from Dream. Hellions in the front, going to get some good shots off initially. Full surround on the Marines, though. So I don't really like where this is going for Dream as a follow-up. Fortunately, the Hellions have survived, so they can kite and micro to try and clean up the rest of the reinforcing Lings. If it wasn't for that, I feel like this might have been really bad. The Queens were even kind of on their way over, being like, oh, can we end the game if we get rid of those Banshees? We were kind of borderline ready to have that happen. The Armory drops down in the back, so ready for 2-2 right away. And, well, it was definitely a scary moment or so for Dream, but he made the most of it, and he actually traded pretty well, all said and done. And now the mutas are starting to come out. And that's the scenario, actually, if the mutas are already there, then maybe it's even worse, because then you do target down Medivacs, and then there's less the Terran can escape away with. And that's obviously going to become a bigger issue in the, you know, during the course of the game as well, as those mutas of soO back out around the left-hand side, going to fly through the center. These couple of Banshees going to go over to the right. Well, CVs go down. The Banshees just going to fly into the back of this natural. And again, Lingbei Muta setting up in the center. Come on, Banshees straight in. A few drones already going down. So 4 workers picked off immediately. 5, 6. Ooh, very nearly getting to 7. The mutas will get in here. Needs the detection, though. And it's still only 6 workers. I mean, you're just taking damage on an extractor at the moment. And there goes one. There goes the other. 7 drones with the Banshees. Not bad considering it's kind of, you know, pretty late in the game and there's mutas on the map, right? So don't think Dream is upset with that. That's also a lot of time where those mutas were at home waiting to deal with the Banshees, you know, waiting for the final shots. Again, the longer you keep the mutas over there, the less time you've got to deal with mutas in your base, which is always generally going to be a positive. Now losing a Mutalisk. CC taking some hits as it will land off over to the left-hand side. And a little bit of creep continue to push out through the middle, up to the top, out to the left. As the infestation pit from soO sets up into the main base. Base number 5 from soO already getting going as well, and a bunch more Banes into the center of the map. Hive will build up from soO into the main base as well. I'm just going to be seeing the creep of soO going to be able to jump over in this little set of bushes. Marines in position right away. Deal with the mutas. Lings and Banes still joining up together. Some creep pushing out. Ready for this Ling Bane army to kind of make a dive on. It's a little bit in the center. As Dream gets up to his 2-2 upgrades. soO has not skipped a beat, straight onto Hive Tech. It's not really been any reason for him to slow down going into Hive Tech, right? It's been a game where... yeah, it's been a game where he's obviously been able to, move forward towards that pretty quickly here. Lings, Banes, and Mutas continue to set up. Gonna start running forward. A few of these Zerglings going down. Marines do get there, and again able to clean up. And the rest of these Marines from Dream just up to the 12 o'clock position. So yeah, the Lings and the Mutas continue to hang around with the Banes as well. Just seeing a 3-3 setting up from Dream 2, so all of that's still coming in as the medevac goes all the way up to the top side. Team Marines already going to head on forward and try to see what they can do. A lot of bio in the middle of the map. The Thors as well, the medevac's in the sky, and just pushing forward, we're going to see a bunch more creep tumors continuing to go down. And that goes the rest of the Ling Bane continue to move through up to the top side. Mutas moving around. This is the issue from Dream. How do you get across the map? It's very difficult at the moment. There's so much creep, and it's just because soO actually did control this game pretty well so far. That big counterattack really kind of scared Dream off from moving onto the map again. Since then, he's kind of, like I say, he's not really ventured too far out. The creep he's cleared has been in the middle of the map at best, and, soO's got the queens around that have been replacing this time and time again as well. So Dream kind of seems a bit stuck, and he says, okay, well, let's settle down for a longer game. Starts up a bunch of extra command centers. Really is ready to kind of embrace the long game, right? 3-3 on the way. The next step of this is just Ghost Academy, and maybe even thinking about extra starports for libs. soO has got Kindness Plane on the way, so Ultras are just, it's just a matter of time until they take to the field. Ling Bane Muta to the left side once again. Led into those Widow Mines a little bit. Extra Banes will start to morph already. They are going to rally down over here as well. 3-3 on the way up on the engineering base. Got the amount of Ling Bane Muta to the side as the Banes go crashing in. Couple Widow Mines. And pick the way as well. Widow Mines will continue to burrow up in this army of Dream, wanting to keep a push going down to the bottom of the map here. Medevac a Dream out to the right side. Just going to see the Ling running in. Does a little bit of damage as we do see the Thor on the bottom. Widow Mine picks off a couple of extra Banelings, and oh, Mutas, I love this counterattack. They grab a medevac. I mean, it's going to pull units back. Don't like those Banes roll into Marauders, but there's a lot going on here. You kill off one of the command centers. That's always going to be fun. If you can get this tank over on this side, that would be fantastic too, and that really just leaves this third base, well, in a bit of a disaster mode. Because now, where are you going to go with any of these SCVs? Well, absolutely nowhere. So soO cleans up 21 workers, gets a couple shots with Banes over here as well. Now researching Burrow, maybe even set up some burrowed Banes around the map. And especially during these fights, if you can get a couple Banes during a fight and then units walk over it, that's always very successful. As the bio continues down, some of this creep being cleaned up. And the Widow Mine setting out on the right as well. Muta's back over to the far left-hand side. As this creep still being cleared out. Liberator's coming through, +1 ship weapons is coming, and oh, this set of, oh my god, the Mutilus nearly flew into even more of these Widow Mines. They took a big couple of shots anyway. Imagine they flew into the rest of them here. As there's a battle for this bottom left base. soO wants it, Dream wants it. Burrowed Ling there. The drone was waiting to build a hatchery. I mean, soO could just take this top side base if Dream's going to focus on the bottom. That's the issue. It's very hard to hold both sides of the map at the same time. Theoretically, soO is already on all the bases he should have in this game, as Widow Mine dropped is good for 9 workers. Yeah, soO already has the kind of bases he should have for the game. He's got all 6 of his bases on his side of the map. Sorry, all 7 bases on his side of the map. Nope, 6. I lied again. That's actually crazy. There's only 6 bases per player on this map. It's he eats Widow Mine shots time after time. Yeah, it's crazy the amount of bases. It's just not a lot. So yeah, if soO gets this one up And it really comes down to very quickly who is mining more. Link counterattack, that's an open door straight into an orbital command mineral line, so it's easily accessible for Lings to just come in and fight and to take down a few of these SCVs. And for some reason, I really believed Submarine had 7 bases per player. But never mind, as the Ultras run in, I don't like this fight so much for soO. These Ultras really feel like they're going in with very little support. They pick off some of the bio, they don't trade terribly, but it definitely feels like they could have done more in a, in a different world, where they'd just been better set up with some Banelings or something. And this base is forced to lift off, not really much reason to remain over here. This bio army is super low HP, even the Mutas are going to go diving in on it. The Ultras do get targeted down though, so those are pretty big losses, because Ultras are pretty expensive. So those are pretty sizable chunks that have lost of the army that are lost. Marauders on the bottom side going for the hatch. The Lings get here, clean the Marauders up. Medivacs pushed away through the bottom side, and Mutas are going to continue to chase down the south. Couple Widow Mines just going to get blown up right away. Honestly, the Widow Mines continue to have pretty good shots throughout the game. It's one of the reasons Dream is probably still staying in this to some extent, as Lings counterattack up into the top side of the map. Few SCVs going down, extra Mutas coming through. Ling Bang gonna run in here. The Widow Mines do get cleaned out. Again, the Ultras, the support are gonna be big. And this is what I mean, right? The Ultras just kind of having a bit of support. This is maybe too much support, because now the Ultras struggle to get on top. But when you're forcing the bio to run back because of the Baneling threat, it makes the Ultras so much more effective. They wiggle down this ramp. Now you've got Lings from one side, Ultras on the other. Where do you really go? I mean, the Ultras go down, but a lot of the army goes down to clean out in the bottom left. This base is still denied. And now Dream is mining off, what, 3 bases? 2 of which are basically mined out? So 1 base Terran economy, essentially, to try and stay in this game of more Ling Bane Ultra continue to come through. +3 flyer attack even, so these Mutas are getting really scary. I gotta say, considering how many Widow Mines these Mutas ate, the fact there's only been 10 lost in the game is crazy, and that's what's allowed soO to have such a good time here as well. He's been able to trade even, only 2,500 resources difference. That's actually pretty good for a Zerg, and in this scenario, in fact, it's really good for a Zerg. And a lot of it is just that he hasn't had to rebuild the Mutas again and again, because he's not had any, major Mutalist disasters. Shows a few Lings off to the side for that Widow Mining again. It's just getting to be too much. At some point here, Dream is going to break and just not be able to get back up on his feet afterwards. Mutas are just going to go for the orbital to the top side. They might even kill that off. Less mules, less scans. Mules over here get taken down as well. Extra Banes rolling in everywhere. Bio going to make a play for this base on the bottom. I mean, you deny this, right? It is still. Is it an issue? Not really, because soO has a bank. He's not desperate to keep mining. He can cover himself for a little while anyway. So it is nice to deny that base. It's a base soO absolutely wants to have and to keep. And it's a base soO, needs to mine out from eventually. But right now, does he need it? No. Right now, he's going to overwhelm Dream. And that's why that base pickoff isn't going to matter all that much. As Mutas, Ultras, Lings all continue to stream in. A couple extra Widow Mines going down. So many extra SCVs are falling, and soO just leading this 70 supply. With money in the bank still to spend, he's got a little bit of a lava issue, but yeah, Dream is even scanning the top side. He's like, wow, you've got this base as well. GG, and soO is going to pick up game number 1 of this best of 7 grand finals of the Olimoleague monthly. Of course, do just want to mention Olimoleague replays always available at patreon.com/Olimoleague. If you want to check out these replays for yourself, as we'll head into game number 2. Bottom left-hand side, our second map starts in the bottom left with the red Zerg play from the Afrika Freaks. It is soO. Bottom top right-hand side, our blue Terran play from Bravestar Gaming. It's Dream, and he's going to go proxy raxing across the map for game 2 of this best of 7. I always love a bit of best of 7, It's always nice to get to see kind of the longer games, right? Always nice to get to see some of these longer games. The SCV of Dream all the way down to the bottom side. And the Overlord just moving through on the bottom as well. A couple of drones going to pop out. Obviously for soO, he's already going pool first, so what a read this is for him. Maybe he wanted to put up some aggression of his own, but either way, it's going to be a really good counter. Pool first against proxy 3 racks as well, so this is much more committed from Dream than a 2 racks. And that means that if you shut this down as soO, you're in an even better position. So, looks really, really good for soO already. It still comes down to micro decision making and how you approach this. So it's not just a given. It's not just a, oh yay, you get to defend this proxy 3 racks and you get to defend it. You still have to put in the work, but it's generally a much better setup than what you might usually have. And when Dream goes forward, does soO see it as well? Oh, no, not quite. Oh, he sees the SCV from a weird angle though. Yeah, now soO knows. He's going to come across here because he wants to try and check the number of racks if possible, because that tells him a little bit about how you'll probably want to set up. He hasn't found it yet. Eventually, there he goes. He's won just before he turned away. Again, does just get a confirmation of that. There's a bunker setting up. SCV continue to build. I mean, there's Ling's already out here, and that's the issue. You don't get the bunker up. There's already a spine on the high ground. I love this too. There's only one depot at home because it's 3 racks, so he's going to go straight. Oh, well, yeah, actually, there should be a second one, but yeah, that's going to be awkward. The Lings actually loop around anyway, look for reinforcements. I think soO just assumes he's going to be locked out from the main if he goes across the map anyway. Of course, there's no Ling speed with this. No gas was mined at all. He did get the extractor, but he didn't commit through to it. Again, Ling's just trying to hold off some of these Marines and keeping Dream that little bit busy. There's now a Queen on the low ground. Can I get rid of these SCVs and stop this bunker from getting up? Well, does it matter? Actually, not 100% sure if it really matters at all. But I think the answer anyway is going to be yes. This is not going to get up, and Dream has a bit of a disastrous start here for game number 2. These few Marines continue to collect together on the right side. The Lings will actually finally continue up to the top. There's now Dream still not walled off, and again, that's annoying. Probably loses this SCV, right? These 3 Lings. I think that's actually going to be a little tough to defend. That one SCV chased away. Ling turns back around. This SCV taking damage. Lings don't quite get the SCV kill. This SCV gets back to building on this depot. SCVs are there to push the Lings around, and we are going to have our Marines. There we go. Going to pick off the Lings. But again, it's just annoying, right? And now soO going into the Rotron as a follow-up. The racks are still on the map even. So soO is actually just going to have a... I mean, it's just going to be an all-in from Dream, right? And soO's going to have a pretty good follow-up to it. This is nice, though. Actually, losing a lot of these Lings is problematic. Now he's going to lose an Overlord as well, just before he can build Roaches. Hey, this is actually really problematic. This maybe gives Dream an opportunity here. He actually builds a factory at home. And is he really going to start flying racks back? I thought he was going to pull the SCVs. Actually, I wouldn't mind that at all with the fact that... I mean, I kind of mind it against the Roaches, but with the supply block, obviously maybe Dream just doesn't realize it's a supply block. There's a good chance that it is, but it's not a guarantee. It's hard to judge this from Dream's perspective in the game. He's laying slow, trying to run in on the Marines again, trying to get a couple around the other side for the surround. I mean, he's still just building Marines from the middle of the map. What's he going to do with 200 gas in the bank as well? I mean, he goes straight to a starport. There's just no command center on the way, so it's going to be one base all in still. It's just not the one base all in I was expecting. Starport, reactor, I guess maybe just Lib, Hellion, Marine? Maybe Banshee, Hellion, Marine. That would work, and actually that might help against the Roaches as well. Otherwise, this is... I mean, how long does that take to set up? How long does that take to arrive? How much time do you give soO to just be in a really good position? It's like, man, soO feels like so many of these units are kind of running into the Marines in the middle. He's almost certain that, you know, at this point, Dream should have given up, right? And I don't blame him. What Dream's doing is definitely being a little bit of a, you know, a unique case in terms of how you approach this. But, yeah, soO now has Roaches and Ravagers, and he takes a bit of map control with them. These Lings turn around and trade out with a few more Marines. It's definitely not been the prettiest of games, right? There's been units going down all over the place. Marines continue in. The Roaches get chased away. So they got chased away back down just to the front of the Natural. And the Armory building up from Dream in the back of the main base as well. Those 3 racks in the center. And that's going to be seen. Roaches and Ravagers coming through. A couple corrosive biles into this racks in the center. Still that Armory on the way up is Again, the Roach Ravager from soO kind of dancing. He knows those units are in the fog of war. Here we go. It was just a medevac. I guess that did make a lot of sense off the starport. Medevac makes sense. Support this. He's going to get a help-out attack with it as well. Okay, it's not quite what I thought of myself, but it's definitely one of the faster ways, right? What I was thinking of, like Banshees and Libs, Libs don't really add much to this. Banshees take too long. So yeah, Medevac's really maybe were the obvious answer, but not really sure if it's going to be enough to make this work out, as soO gets in position, so the Hellion run-by will not do much at all at the start. In fact, it does zilch, zero, nada, nothing at all. As Medevac brings the Hellions back in. Here come the SCVs, so it's commitment time. Can Dream somehow make this work against the massive Roaches and Ravagers? I'm going to wager my bets and say no. Hate to tell you the game's over, guys, but that's a lot of Roach Ravagers. A lot of Marines, don't get me wrong. The Hellbats will be a little bit tanky as well. Crows of Bow. Kills one Marine, which is actually pretty good. A couple SCVs. There's a Spine Crawler up here. The Queens are here to help defend. And yeah, I mean, SCV's kind of backing away. Yeah, I mean, Dream doesn't even let the fight play out. It's pretty one-sided. That is going to be GG, and soO is going to take a game number 2 of this best of 7, taking the 2-0 lead in the series. GG. On us off in the top left-hand side, the red Zerg 2-0 up in this best of 7. It is soO. And Stream not sure if it's best of 5 or best of 7. He's told it is best of 7. As Dream is our blue Terran player in the bottom right-hand side of Death Aura. Very fun map. Always enjoy a bit of Death Aura. Definitely a fun one to keep an eye on. It's one of my favorites, I think, out of the new ones that have been added in to this season of maps. So, kind of, you know, I don't know what it is. I just feel like it consistently gives us some fun games. Promotes macro play without being too easy to take all of the bases. It's just a good mix. It's just a really nice mix. Hatchery drops down on the natural expansion as we get this up and running. The Overlord of soO out around to the right side. Overlord of soO to the left. Obviously, there's been some proxy racks action in this series so far, so soO just trying to make sure he can double check if anything like that is out on the map or so. As the racks will be setting up from Dream in the main base. Let me get this up, rolling, ready to party. Game 3 of our best of 7. Again, if you're tuning into this, do not forget a couple of ways to support the channel. I'm going to talk about a couple of ways to support the YouTube channel. Obviously, like, subscribe, and comment. But also do check out the YouTube membership system. And there's a join button below each video. $5 a month helps me, well, just help support my content, basically. So do check that out. If you're really enjoying as well, you can check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/WardiTV. That link is down below in the description, or if you're watching on Twitch right now, !Patreon. That helps me to run tournaments. It helps me to fund tournament prize pools, basically. So, yes, it's really nice to see the Patreon has been doing so well. We've got 60+ patrons right now, which is amazing. Like, I couldn't even be beyond belief how many patrons we have. So, thank you so much for all of the support there. You guys are helping us to set up some more WardiTV events, and they will be happening again once we get through this season of the DreamHack SE2 Masters. So they start up again in a couple of weeks. Some European League action and some other stuff that we've got kind of planned, including the 25,000 YouTube subscriber celebration. When we get there, gonna have a YouTube-only Korean invitational. Gonna be fun. Anyways, the Lings are here, and the Reaper is dancing with them. And as you see, a little bit of damage being done so far. You know, Dream doesn't really do much of the bio in the first game. Second game tries to proxy racks. I do wonder. I mean, we've still got Ice and Chrome in this map pool, which, you know, Ice and Chrome in this map pool, definitely going to play mech there. Death Aura is another map where we have seen a few Terrans cranking out the mech as well. You know, the ability to take 4 bases easily and then get to 5 a bit more easily than the Zerg. That's actually something that really plays into the strength of mech. So, something else to watch out for sure. Definitely, yeah, actually really excited to see how exactly that plays out. As you see, the Reaper just backs away through this top side, comes out around into the center. Overlord of soO setting up link speed building in the main base. The Overlord of soO just out to the left. Third hatchery will finish. This Overlord just moving around also. And a couple of the Hellions will make their way all the way to the top of the map. And there's the fusion core. As it does indeed look like it's going to be a little bit of mech here, doesn't it? Queens get there pretty quickly to turn the two Hellions away. So the group spread going up without issue. I'm going to dive into the third, but there's nothing on the third to really dive. So just checking Dream, right? Just seeing if there's any information to be picked up on activity with the Hellions is always a good thing. You know, he might have gotten a Cryptium, he might have gotten a drone. He gets information, right? You know, it's just that, you know, it's the opportunity that you create for yourself. That's the important thing here. Like, having that opportunity for yourself can really go a long way to helping out. Is this Reaper going to hop up into the main? Queen turns this around. Lair continuing to build. Bane Nest is up on the natural expansion as well. Again, there's our Battlecruiser building up right now. As you just have the Hellions making a dive into the natural expansion. A few of these Zerglings being picked away at. Drones in some trouble as well, so a couple of these already going down. A couple extra drones continue to drop. We do see the Hellions continuing into the main base. And as the Zerglings will chase all the way through here. The Reaper goes down, the other Hellion goes down. And that is going to be that as the Queens and the Lings pick up the shutdown on this run by. And that's, what, all those Hellions dead? 6? It's a good start from soO, of course. I will always talk about how, as mech, losing the Hellions isn't as bad, but, you know, it's still not a good trade for Dream. So, in that regard, definitely a big plus for soO. Usually when you talk about it not being so bad for mech, it's like, okay, well, they've traded evenly, and it's like, well, actually, you know, that's good for mech, but, you know, you still want to trade at least evenly with mech. With bio, if you trade evenly, it's like, it's not really good because of losing the map control. With mech, you need to trade evenly, and it's still actually okay for you. But this was trading in favor of soO, so that was good. And now he's already got some queens. He had to push this BC away. The other couple of queens showing up as well. BC continues to take a chunk of damage already, flying over the Spore. Amazing map for BC as well, something I didn't really talk about a bit earlier, but there's so much dead airspace, right? So another reason to go mech, because you open BC, and then you've got all of this dead airspace to work with. You can just park BCs here for days until the Spire gets up, so yeah, that's a feature as well. But even just the dead space is somewhere good to teleport into initially with the BCs and then kind of waltz into, although I don't expect we see much of that. The Spire is very quick, so it should be a shutdown pretty early. And it should be Corruptors as well. soO going into the Roach Roaring, so don't expect this to be mutas. soO going to go into what is kind of the more old school version of this setup. As we see some of these Hellions of Dream through the middle of the map. Yeah. So you're going to do this kind of more old school setup of kind of Corruptor Roach. If this was, it's just Muta Roach doesn't really work because of how you need to work it out. I'm just going to be seeing our Hellions continue to move around. Orbital from Dream will be landing on the third base. A couple of Overlords still in production. 5 more Corruptors coming up, and a couple of Armories of Dream in the main as well. BC comes back in, gonna get a couple more kills before it teleports home, and it's just nice, right? A couple extra drones taking a little bit of a risk, completely pays off, and now he's at home safe and can be repaired. As 9 Corruptors take to the field. So the question is, what's next? Usually from this setup as soO, you either go Roach Ravager, Corruptor Bust, and you try and break the Terran down. Not sure how well that works, busting into a high ground third that only has ramps leading up to it. So the other alternative usually would be to go into Swarm Hosts. Are we likely to see Swarm Hosts here? Well, I mean, if he doesn't Roach Ravager Bust, then, like I'm saying, it kind of is the way you go. But it looks like he's Roach Ravager Bust. I mean, 4th base coming up, making lots of Roaches. If you don't go Swarm Host and you don't Roach Ravager Bust, what's the next step then? Maybe like a rush to Broodlords, but even then, I'm not 100% sure how well that works. Because then you're stuck on mostly Roach Ravager, and that generally ain't going to be pretty as... Wow, both the high-energy Queens get targeted down by the Yamatos, so that's great. Crypto show up, and there's obviously the teleport away. Gets a 3rd Queen as well, so... Not bad from the BCs. This one just committed, though, and that's a dead BC, so... we will be pretty happy with that. That was a mistake, for sure, from Dream. That was not meant to happen, as Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers will work their way through the rocks on the left side. Take these down, open the pathway, and... Well, a few Corruptors just going to go in for the Rax, so Rax taking some damage. The Hellbat's continuing across, and these couple of BCs going to line up a couple of the Yamatos and shoot down one of these Corruptors already. 6 more Overlords coming up. Roaches and Ravagers still coming into play. The rest of this army from soO setting up and looking as though it's ready to move up this ramp into the natural here. So here we go. Roaches, Lings, Ravagers continuing forward. A couple of these Hellbats already being picked away at. More corrosive bars going to go up into the sky. Rax taking some damage, and well, here we go. That's the big bust I was talking about, but it's kind of awkward, right? It's not really a good position. You have to come up with these ramps initially. The Widow Mines actually did a lot of splash here. These tanks obviously doing great because they were kind of very far back. Backs away from the last couple of tanks. This BCs are going to go down. I think you mass repair it to keep it alive. The Ravagers do get into the natural expansion though, so there's more damage to be done here by soO as he runs in. Dream floating a lot of money as well. New tank siege up though, and I think this is going to be the end of least units from soO. He tries to run in with more Roaches, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The BCs will hold this off. They'll hold off the Corruptors in the sky. The tanks hold off the Roaches and Ravagers on the ground. 25 SCV is down, but Dream survives. Remember, he's got a bit of excess money in the bank to spend as well here. As you just see the rest of these drones continue to build, and again, this army of soO will move down to the bottom side, ready to move in. Roaches and Ravagers. Now down to the south. Just gonna see these couple of tanks setting up. Widow Mines gonna burrow as well. A couple of these Widow Mines being picked away at. As the Roach Ravager goes diving on through. Another Widow Mine goes off. Roach is getting picked off as well, and still just chasing these siege tanks. Are gonna get picked away at as well. So some siege tanks going down. Hellions taking some more damage. Another couple of SCVs continue to fall as well as 8 workers will continue to drop. 9, 10, 11. But it's expensive, right? There's a lot of Roaches going down. You know, soO's continue to just throw units at Dream, and yeah, it's dealing eco damage, and that's kind of one of, you know, that's what you want to do, but it's eco damage at a huge expense. Resources lost isn't too different just yet, but during all this time, Dream is building up that kind of better and better army. And where's soO's army going? More Roaches? This doesn't get better for soO given time, and that's kind of part of the issue, right? I mean, never mind right. Absolutely is. I don't need the confirmation. That is the issue that we are kind of getting to at the moment. So Roach in the middle gets shot down. Roach Ravager still moving in, moving around there. +2 missile attack on the Evolution Chamber. Just going to be seeing Roach Ravager Corruptor out to the left-hand side. A couple of BCs here going to get rid of some creep spread as well. Again, there's these BCs doing what they do, right? They come out, they harass, they're annoying. Actually, this is nice. Forces a transfusion. If it wasn't a transfuse there, you would have had a Corruptor. So sticking around for that will eventually teleport away. Again, you don't want to stick around forever because you do want to be able to teleport away. And the more damage you take, the SCVs, the more they have to repair. So it does come at a cost. Hey, that's 2 siege tanks together that get taken down by those biles, but there's just not enough biles to get rid of the rest of this. Corruptors going for the BC. The repair is good, and the missile turrets are going to clean the Corruptors out again. Another BC teleports into the fight. Might be able to get Yamato. Maybe just on the Ravager in the end. Doesn't drop it on anything. And the BCs hold once more. Dream. This defense, you can see that resource loss tap adding up a little bit. Again, he loses 17 SCVs. This is now 62 SCVs lost in the game. You can see that soO continues to take these spikes of income as he kills off those workers, and then Dream settles down. He gets them rebuilt, gets his mules mining again, and it kind of evens out. And soO is just going to go for the same once more. I mean, honestly, if there's ever a player to keep on headbutting into the Terran army with Roach Ravager Corruptor, especially when the Terran's playing mech, it is soO. But I kind of get it, because what is he meant to transition into? Well, not really anything. There's not really a good transition for him here. Hey, that was actually a really nice set of corrosive bars that will help him get the kill. He lined them up, waited for the Yamato to come down, knew the BC would guarantee take the biles. It's a nice kill on the BC. And maybe that gives soO the momentum needed to break on through here finally. Maybe, possibly. As these Widow Mines are going to burrow up, all of them setting up on this high ground. We do have a BC. We'll kill a hatchery on the top right-hand side. As Roaches and Ravagers move up, and Siege Tank gonna get taken down on the third base. But not much else. Ooh, lines of the bios. Oh, snipes the BC. Lovely set of bars right there. At the perfect moment. soO's finally realizing though that this isn't going to end the game, especially as Dream's been able to secure 4 bases. So realizing this, he decides to add on the Banelin Nest, Infestation Pit, and he'll tech up. Hive will be important, Vipers are going to be essential. And soO will kind of let this go for a little while and kind of give Dream some space, which is of course dangerous. A mech player with space, But at the same time, I don't mind it because I definitely feel like, the Roach, he needs to give him space if he wants to get off Roach Ravager. And I don't think staying on Roach Ravager was going to be able to get enough done. Melee upgrade halfway done. Infestation Pit put into use with the Hive Stun, but an Infestor coming out too. We'll see what he adds with that. Maybe just looking for some Fungals to grab the Cyclones and lock those down in position for the Roach Ravager to clean up a little bit. Especially if it's just one kind of Infest out of nowhere. It can be a bit of a surprise right away, or a couple of Infestors when you don't expect them to. It can be a good way to grab some Cyclone kills. We'll see as we settle down a little bit here. 15 minutes into Death Aura. You better buckle your seatbelts, friends, because it seems like we're in for a bit of a wild ride. 15 minutes and both players are kind of being allowed to play a different game now. Well, soO is allowing Dream to play a different game where he's actually going to get maxed out, and we'll see what moves he wants to make from there. Obviously, from soO's point of view, it's a whole new composition that he is setting up for. BC still being annoying. How many BCs did die this game? 4. So actually, Dream did continue to build BC after BC in this game. For the moment, as we see the couple of spines firing up a storm. And you see the Neural Parasite setting up on the Infestation Pit as well. Baneling speed on that Bane Nest also, as the Cyclone's going to be able to grab the Roach, and just seeing the rest of this continue to set up as we do have Cyclone's going to lock on to a few of those Ravagers. The Infestors coming back with this as well. Army still in the center. 22 more Zerglings on the way out. Neural Parasite's on the way. Of course, that's one of the main things we see kind of against later game mech. And I guess we are kind of there already. Like I said, usually these Infestors are pretty good for Fungals against Cyclones, but when you consider the fact that this is obviously kind of now Dream already getting into that really scary army, Parasite is absolutely worth having. A few Neurals can absolutely change the tide of a battle. Cyclone lock-ons. Neural Parasite will finish in a few moments. Tanks continue to build from Dream, and just gonna see Hellions and Cyclones around the far right-hand side. Fungal lands on just a few Hellions. It's not worth diving in for that. A few Hellions for what? Running into so much Siege Tank fire? It's not gonna go well for you. Drones continue to drop as the Cyclones get the lock-on. Hatchery is down in just a couple moments. There it goes. It will fall. Ravager still coming through with the spine crawlers to help out. Just going to see the pathogen glands on the Infestation Pit. +3 missiles, the adrenal glands, all of that continues set up at the moment. Army of soO. Into the middle of the map. He's building Broodlords, which a lot of people would probably describe as a mistake, but honestly, there's not really any Thors or anything. If there was Thors, then I'd be a bit more like, oh, Broodlords, what are you going to do with those? But actually, a few Broods here might go well. I mean, there's some extra starports on the way up, and I think Dream, I don't think he's building those starports as preparation for Broods. I'm actually pretty convinced he's going to build those starports maybe at Tech Labs for more Battlecruisers, because he's on 5 bases, and, if you're on 5 bases pushing towards a rich Vespene, PCs might just be your ultimate late-game army. Here we go. Brood's going to push in, and immediately Thors start up, so the starports were not going to be his answer to the Thors, to the Broodlords. Although maybe now they could be, right? There's nothing to stop you building a few Vikings. I think it's worth keeping in mind how many Broods this is. It's only 5 now, 4 as the Yamato goes off. So it's not a lot. You don't want to overcommit, and that's why I don't think you go Vikings either. I think you just go for OBCs, and that's really, really good against Broodlords and against the ground army. I do feel like this starts to get very difficult for soO to figure out how exactly he's going to fight this as the BC. in the middle of the map, trying to go in after those queens. Brutal's going to get pushed back. Cyclone getting a lock on, getting another Ravager killed. The rest of this pulling up the top side. Lings and Bane still coming through. The +1 attack on the Great Aspire. So again, that +1 flyer attack out us. Again, the army of soO around to the right. 2-2 melee upgrades coming up from soO right now as well. And again, this Ling, Bane, Ravager army from soO continues to set up. Extra and fast is just continuing to come into play, and just going to be seeing soO still wanting to move down that bottom right side. Jump in for the surround on this tank Thor army. Tanks are going to unsiege as the brutes come into play, and there you go. Roach, Ravager, Bane, Infested. The Infested are getting blown up really quickly. The Neuroparasites do nothing. The tanks are very clumped together. Some friendly fire damage, some Baneling Splash doing okay. soO loses so much, though. Now the BCs teleport in for the cleanup duty. And there's still tanks remaining as well, so you're really getting away with nothing here. As soO, all the Broodlords go down. He rebuilds 17 Corruptors. Oh, I don't like that, because if you build 17 more Corruptors, you're going to be, what, Corruptor Broodlord? I mean, now there's Thors on the way. And BCs, I mean, you kind of need Corruptors, I don't disagree. I'd actually just love to see him re-add the Infestors, because I really feel like Neuroparasites are one of the essentials in this game right now. Losing this base will put soO back down to 6 bases. And the Terran looking to go up to 7 as he already takes the right side. I mean, I actually feel like this base is pretty exposed as well. It's very difficult to hold the 6th base on this map. If you hold the 6, it should be easy to hold the 7th, but obviously that's not happening at the moment. Some transfusions here. The BCs will back away. May need some help of the ground army to make this work. There are the burrowed Infestors, but they're going to run into missile turret coverage. And the first of the 3 gets shut down in an instant. And as Roaches and Ravage continuing through, and just going to be seeing the couple of Crows of Baals continuing to drop on in. Thor, send up over to the right. A lot of the Crypt is moving that back over to the right side. We see the rest of the Vipers continuing up, and the BCs will set up as well. And get repaired a little bit, and 21 minutes deep on Death Aura. So we're 21 minutes deep, and I just don't see what soO's going to do. It's amazing that he held this base, though. I mean, that's amazing. To get to 7 bases, that could be the game changer. And honestly, every second you hold this base for and you're mining this rich Vespene gas out, that's big for you. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. Cyclones show up, and boom. Down goes the hatchery. Queen's not around. No transfusions available, so we'll try and rebuild it. Dream just going to take a pretty slow approach to it, and I don't mind that either, right? He's got a BC fleet, so he's just going to fly around the map and deny bases. He can deny up here. And the thing is, if he denies up here, then he could teleport over here, kill this base, and maybe fly to coverage of missile turrets before the Corruptors get back across. Because you've got to send the Corruptors up here. If you don't send the Corruptors up here to chase down those Battlecruisers, well, the Corruptors are just going to continue to have a really, really good time, right? It's definitely a feature as we see the Ravages, Roaches, Banes all setting up. 3-3 melee upgrades coming through. The rest of the Lings on the way out from soO as well. There's a couple of hatcheries just rebuilding. I mean, the fact he's trying to get the right side rich Vespene gases, if he gets there, that might make enough of a difference. I mean, he's 10,000 resources worse off, but if you mine an extra base from your opponent, and you can mine out the gas on that base very quickly, I mean, this is the issue. The BCs are going to have something to say about it, and as you send the Corruptors up here, you must respond to this. And great scan as well. He knows there's no Infestors on the way, so there's no Fungals, there's no Neurals, there's nothing that's going to lock these BCs into position. And if there's nothing that's going to lock them in, they're safe to continue forward. And this base is basically mined out anyway. Like I say, if the Corruptors commit into this, there's going to be a round of Yamatos and a teleport to the bottom left. And if you teleport to the bottom left, you're in trouble as well. And that's why the Corruptors will not, face this. They don't want to eat Yamatos. They don't want that to happen. So he's trying to posture and trying to be scary without actually committing in. And it kind of gives Dream a couple of picks on the edges, but that's about it. Now the ground army's moving across, though, and Dream might just be able to push down that base with the ground army. I like what soO is doing. Again, it makes sense, because if you dive in with the Corruptors, you're going to lose a lot of them. You're not actually going to kill the BCs. but you have to be there somewhat to try and threaten. Otherwise, the BCs will just kill everything. It's a weird position. It's a really, really weird position. BCs continue through the top side. Roach Ravager will chase those couple of Thors. Corrosive Pile's going up. Some of the Thors being picked away at. Alright, Ground Army got over here to play cleanup, so nicely done by soO. Defends this base again. I'm impressed. Honestly, I did not expect this base to last so long. He's going to lose the Bane Nest, maybe the Infestation Bit here. A couple of things that might be problematic. The Corruptors are going to commit. BCs instantly teleport. Where do they go? Not what I thought they would. They're just going to go home. Okay. Maybe afraid of teleporting here with the Ravagers here, and then they get, like, mass biled or something. I mean, that's also a possibility, right? So, yeah. Thor count is 0. No Thors on the map. He's going to reinforce with Cyclones. As long as there's not Broods, the Cyclones will be able to lock onto Corruptors if they commit to a fight. And then the Cyclones do really well against Corruptors. Even stayed locked onto this hatchery for a very long time. Again, soO's been mining what he can. It's been difficult, especially with this gas being denied. And obviously it's on the near side, so it's hard to keep it alive. He has mined 800 gas off this base already, trying to reset on the top right. Does Dream know about the other Rich Vespene base? He doesn't know it's a hatchery. That's actually huge, right? If he knew that was a hatchery, it's such an easy denial. But actually, soO's kind of getting away with it, although he's not actually taking the gases, which are the main point of that base. Resources lost at 13k difference, though. You are approaching an entire base of mining difference on the resources lost. At which point, then, it really comes down to this other one. 16 SCVs down, a few more changelings picked off. Scan on top of this army. And this Dream wants to keep on pushing through. Man, this battlecruiser fleet. He's actually adding Widow Mines in as well. Also, I mean, anything that's going to help against the Corruptors, right? And, you know, the Widow Mines do help against the Corruptors. You put them, you know, you put your opponent in a position where if he dives in for your BCs, he's not going to be trading very well at all. As the rest of this army from soO still moving down the bottom side. BCs cleaning up a few extra Zerglings, and, well, the rest of the BCs still moving around as well. Siege tanks building up from Dream. The Lings back up to the top side here. Corruptors and Vipers all setting up. And again, the Battlecruisers just making their way around in the bottom left-hand side. 3 more Siege tanks on the way out from Dream then. From the main base. Cyclones get a couple of lock-ons too. Going to dive in. We're actually going to see BCs getting some Yamatos off here and teleporting out. So 1 BC lost for all those Yamatos. I think that's fine. And at the same time, pushing over here. Still some BCs here actually as well. Going to get another round of Yamatos. So splitting the BCs up and getting some decent trades. Again, I think a BC for like 5+ Corruptors is always going to be worth it. And then you've got BCs in the top right as well. So Dream's just really all over the map. And soO is in some trouble trying to clean this up. The Zergling's trying to run in. Hatchery is gonna fall in a moment or so. More corrosive piles. Run away, Dream. Don't take those bile hits. You really can't afford to. Yamatos, teleports. Actually love this. Teleport to the front BC without a Yamato. That was absolutely the right call as well, because otherwise it would have been dead. Really good call by Dream. Really controlling these BCs well. And soO's just in trouble. 16k resources lost difference. Not mining an extra base over his opponent. Not even mining this base. So he's actually mining 1 less base. Going to have to be denied here as well. That's basically game. He's just not killing anything, man. He's only killed 6 BCs this game. Dream has 8k, 4k in the bank. Oh, Widow Mines getting a fantastic start. An explosive start to this. Parasitic bombs on the BCs. Trying to split up. This is the large fight. This is where it all happens. The BCs turn back around for Yamatos. Corrosive bombs all over the army. Fungal's trying to land, but the BCs will overwhelm as all of the Corruptors go down. The remaining Viper will fall. GG is called, and Dream will be on the scoreboard after an explosive and very fun final fight of Game 3. And that is how Dream gets a map on the board. Going in a golden wall, you know, we just had 1 long game, and this is absolutely the map to potentially have another. Our blue Zerg player from the Afrika Freaks is soO. up against the red Terran in the bottom right from Brave Star Gaming. It's Dream. Okay, well, maybe we won't have a long game if Dream's going to crank out the SCVs across the map and go for a little bit of proxy action. But we saw a very cool series earlier between it was Cure and Solar, and Cure proxy raxed on this map, and Solar had a really fun defense against it because he just didn't he just gave up his natural. He mined out here and he took this base here, and Cure is very committed up this ramp. This will be different to that because it's 2 racks, not 3 racks, so it's just another map. It's just another way that Golden Wall delivers. There's a few different ways to work around it. Again, makes it very fun, very interesting. There's the Overlord up to the top side, and yeah, these racks getting ready to rumble. As the hatchery on the natural expansion, we do see a depot setting up as well. And again, the Overlord's just kind of getting themselves ready to go in these early stages. Hatch gas and pool going to start us off. A couple of drones going to jump into this extractor. And of course, right now, soO has not quite picked up on the info that he perhaps needs to know what's happening here. He doesn't see this at all, so a little unfortunate. Let's see how his response to it is. He's going to see it so late, though, because the bunker is already going to start on the natural. If the bunker's already going to start on the natural, that's obviously a real issue. Not sure about to finish up. And that's going to be soO's first sight of the fact that this is a proxy Rax. He doesn't even check. I mean, yeah. Now he sees the bunker and he's like, ew. This is not good for me. As we do see an SCV building up the bunker. The other one up into the main base. The Marines continue to move around. As we do have the attempt to cancel this spine crawler. So soO setting up the spine crawler. Marines dealing some damage. Drone taking a few shots. Hatchery on the natural. A couple bunkers setting up already. And as the Marines coming through, Link Speed is on the way on this spawning pool as well. And we do have the Queen taking a few extra shots of damage. So, a few extra shots coming in at the moment. Marines, a bit of back and forth. Lings moving around. We do have the drones trying to set up as well. Yeah, surround this hatchery a little bit. The bunkers, the rest of them about to finish up. This is pretty bad for soO if the rest of these bunkers get up. Even more for him to break through. No spine crawler to help. He hasn't got any repairing though, so the bunkers will go down pretty quick. 7 drones dead. It's a lot of damage. Link speed's going to kick in shortly for the counterattack perhaps. 7, 8 drones down. The only good thing I see of this is that these racks are still over here and there's barely any Marines left on the map, so the counterattack has real potential from soO to be very annoying. So Ling's going to go out to the right-hand side. Again, that CC is building up on the main and just going to be seeing a few Lings continuing across as well. Ling's getting the Marine on the left-hand side. Again, this aggression will continue up. So just going to run up this ram. Depots in the factory already taking some hits. The starport in the main, and just going to see the rest of the Lings continue to move around. Tron still building. Overlord about to pop, and soO's kind of held on, but again, the question always will be, held on in what kind of a position? Down in workers, had to rebuild. The only thing I will say is that there really is like 0 pressure on the map at all. Dream has to build 2 Hellions with no reactor. Because these racks would just kind of continue to build Marines for such a huge amount of time. And that's maybe the one difference to what you would usually see when somebody opens with the 2 racks. Usually they actually kind of cut and, you know, they get their damage done and they fall back. There was obviously a lot of investment, like 3 bunkers as well, right? So yeah, soO just gonna keep his Lings parked down over here. But yeah, just keeps Dream kind of penned in for that little while longer, right? Maybe a couple of SCVs could fall in this because there's a lot of Lings left over. And soO's worker count is exploding right now as Dream goes into a fusion core. What else could soO get up to right here? Wow, that's actually quite a few SCVs on this low ground that are in trouble. The Hellions are in a bad spot as well. The wall is open if the Lings break in. The Viking will go down. He's gotten already 3 SCVs on the low ground. I mean, this only helps to put soO into a better spot. This Hellion's going to go down as well. The repair won't keep it alive forever. SCVs might have been better fighting the Zerglings anyway. as he's just going to have SCVs running around all over the place. And with 7 workers killed, that's 40 drones to the 24 SCVs. This is what I mean about the counterattack a little bit. He didn't have any Marines back at home. He had to wait a long time to build the reactors. So the Hellion count was actually pretty low for longer than usual. Usually if you can build the reactor right away into Hellions, then you're going to be on more Hellions. You're going to be on 4 Hellions by now already. Even if you go 1 Hellion reactor, you probably would have been on 3. But just the 2 and then getting caught in that position, that's actually really nice for soO. As now he gets a roach roaring up, and it looks like he might just keep up the pressure. 2 extra gases. This is absolutely, you know, build roaches and walk across the map territory. So he's going to spread the creep out, make this as fast as possible. The attack over the far right-hand side. And the BC will set up in the main. 3rd CC still in the main base as well, as we're going to be seeing our 7 roaches continuing through. The Queen on the natural expansion. And just going to be seeing another Overlord or 2 popping out as well, as the Queen's going to drop down some creep tumors. Yeah, we saw kind of a few extra drones, but the roaches are already built and right, and they're going to start moving across this map very, very soon here. And what is there to defend this from Dream? Well, he's got a battlecruiser halfway done. This is one of those battlecruisers which is just... he's just going to take so much damage. The BC has to do so much across the map, and it's not like it's going to be, you know, 2 BCs to really kind of ramp up pressure over here. It's like 1 BC, and it can maybe do a bit, but he's going to lose like 30 workers anyway, at the very least, I think. Wings set up out in the middle. A few Ravagers and Roaches moving across. There's a couple of Hellions still parked up this ramp here. The Roaches and Ravagers going to make their way forward. Hellions back away already. Just going to be seeing the SCVs. Going to start taking some damage as well. Here comes that BC to defend, but the question is, again, do you really... how fast do you really kill stuff? I mean, especially the Zerglings. There's going to be so many Lings running through this. And there's no Hellions, right? If there was a higher Hellion count, then maybe this would be somewhat okay. I actually think with the Hellion count being so low, the Lings will just overrun, and you never get on top of that as Dream. There's 20 workers dead already. And he's going to move into the main base mineral. It's going to be more than 30 workers that go down, right, by the end of this. And then you teleport across the map with, what, 1 BC? And you obviously know the BC is there as soO, so you can build spores, you can get extra queens. You should be prepared for it. There's 31 workers killed, chasing down the Hellions still. But more Hellions on the way out. Dream 14 workers to 55 drones. Loses 34 SCVs. That's brutal. Even a couple more at the very end here, as that's going to be finally the cleanup. He's going to teleport across the map, and there's 4 queens already here. Spore Crawler about to finish. This will not do the damage that Dream is looking for. More queens show up. 6 queens. And soO is going to take the 4th map. And that is just going to be... I mean, it's right, though. You know, this BC is actually not going the way to save itself, and it's not going to do any damage. And you need damage on the counter. Dream doesn't get it. On the top right-hand side, the red Zerg player. On match point, up 3-1. This is soO. And the bottom left, our blue Terran. He's going to proxy Rax again. It's Dream. Alright, so Dream, honestly, I didn't mind where the 2 racks was at. I actually think the bigger issue was maybe how much he committed to it, and it didn't really give him too much more, versus then obviously the Lings across the map were very successful. Just gonna see the 2 racks dropping down already. So over to the right side, it's a spawning pool first from soO. Feels like soO has a... I mean, this is what, another round of proxy racks into pool first. soO sees it so quickly with the Overlord, so it's just, you know, he's already sending drones across. This is perfect situation. It's a little bit awkward because the racks are walled here, so it's difficult to guarantee damage onto the SCVs all the time, so he has to send drones on either side, basically. He's actually getting some good damage. This SCV on the left will just not move. Hello? SCV just finishes the barracks. Hey, but what about SCV number 2? I don't think SCV number 2 is going to finish it up. There's a new SCV coming across the map. soO needs a target fire. He gets it. Yeah, new SCVs are on the way, sends 2 more, but this is already a success story. Because even these SCVs showing up are going to be a little bit later than usual to build in the bunker, right? So And there's already Lings here, soO. Oh, this was not... I mean, Dream, I'm sorry, but this was not the way we wanted this series to end. Not pretty. Couple Lings coming around. SCV taking some damage. Marine gonna get chased. It's gonna go down. A couple Lings of soO will continue to the far bottom left. We do have that Queen of soO in the main as well. There's the bunker building. I mean, you're about to have extra Lings here very shortly. Two Lings across the map, even just as a distraction or an annoyance. Queen gets down, starts to target the first SCV. Bunker will not go up. Second SCV gets onto that further along bunker. Takes a lot of damage in the process. There's no way bunkers are getting up here. First Lings get an SCV across the map. They'll just nibble the depots again. I'll force SCVs off the line to repair, if nothing else. And that's obviously more lost mining time and a worse position for Dream to play out of. soO's already building the Rotoron, and again, why not? He's on a very low drone count, but you can get away with it here. You can get that Rotoron up, and you can make this work. Couple bunkers setting up in the frontier once again. New SCVs, but I mean, how many SCVs are you going to try and bring across the map to get these bunkers up at this point? They get denied again. The only reason this is maybe somewhat close is because soO's waiting for a Rotoron before he spends a lot of his money. Then he can build roaches, and that's just going to make this even harder of a shutdown. Honestly, might not even get to that. Lings are going to chase in for the Marines. The SCV gets denied once more. And this really was not the final game we were looking for. We were kind of hoping that soO was going to, or Dream was going to fight back a bit. More SCVs show up. He really wants this bunker, man. And then roaches are here. Oh, this is so sad. He gets 2 Marines into a bunker. And he's going to get a third one in. He transfuses the roaches. He's actually just going to kill the bunker. So he committed so much to getting this bunker up, and now the bunker doesn't even survive. It's an expected GG from Dream, as soO will wrap it up. 4-1 is the number on the scoreboard at the end of the day, as soO is your Olimoleague monthly champion. Congratulations to soO. And yeah, Dream just didn't really have much of an answer to soO. I mean, maybe a few too many proxy racks, considering he lost 3 of these games trying to proxy racks. Maybe the proxy racks was the issue, Dream, or a lack of confidence in the TVZ matchup. GG's and well played.